Hey there, travelers. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Laura from Laura's Travel Talk, and today we're heading down to the Tar Heel State, North Carolina. Whether you're a history buff, an outdoor enthusiast, a sports fan, or just looking for your next travel destination, North Carolina has something for everyone. And I mean everyone. I lived there for 7 years, and it's beautiful. In this video, we'll take you through the rich history, the stunning beaches, the majestic mountains, the thriving businesses, and of course, the pro sports teams that make this state truly special. So have you ever wondered where the term Tar Heel comes from? So there are lots of opinions and lots of different ways to look at it. The one I found the most is that the Tar Heel often applied to the poor white laborers who worked to produce tar and pitch and turpentine a couple of 100 years ago, which was made due to the abundance of pine trees in North Carolina. During the Civil War, the North Carolina soldiers then flipped the meaning of the term and turned a slur into an accolade as an expression of state pride. So that's my 2 cents worth, and there's lots of opinions, so feel free to look it up yourself. But let's dive into the rest of North Carolina. So let's look at the history of North Carolina. It dates back to its founding in 1663 as one of the original 13 colonies. It was here in 1903 that the Wright brothers made history with the first successful powered flight at Kitty Hawk, forever changing the course of aviation. And I'll show you some pictures on that later. And then during the Civil War, North Carolina played a significant role as a Confederate state. And many of its historic sites, like Bentonville Battlefield, offer a glimpse into this tumultuous time. I've put these pictures up of Bennett Place because that is where, 17 days after General Lee surrendered at Appomattox, General Joseph Johnston then surrendered an additional 90,000 men, and it ended the Civil War for the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. So I thought that was a pretty important picture to add. In addition, I've put a picture of what I thought was a cool article in 2024, this year. The Civil War soldiers from what was then known as the 135th and the 35th U.S. Colored Troops were honored with the reenactors of the Civil War there. And I thought that was a cool article. You can look it up. And then lastly, the legacy of North Carolina is home to the first public university in the United States. And that would be none other than the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Next, let's move on to the beaches. From the Outer Banks to the Crystal Coast, North Carolina's beaches are some of the most beautiful in the country. The Outer Banks is a string of barrier islands, and it's famous for its wild horses, the historic lighthouses, and the scenic beauty. And then further south, you'll find Wrightsville Beach, a hotspot for surfers and water sports, and Emerald Isle, known for its family-friendly atmosphere and crystal clear waters. I know when I visited the North Carolina Outer Banks, it was phenomenal because I'm from the West Coast, and the beaches on the East Coast are completely different than the West Coast. The water's warmer. They have wispy grasses blowing just like you picture in your mind, and the wild horses, and just get out there and look at it. It's awesome. And then whether you're looking to relax on the sand or explore coastal towns, you can go to Beaufort or Wilmington, and North Carolina beaches offer a perfect getaway. So if the mountains are more your style, North Carolina won't disappoint. The Blue Ridge Mountains and the Great Smoky Mountains are home to some of the most breathtaking scenery on the East Coast. The Blue Ridge Parkway is known as America's favorite drive, and it offers stunning vistas, hiking trails, and access to charming mountain towns like Asheville. In the fall, the mountains come alive with vibrant colors, making it a top destination for leaf peeping. And don't forget about Mount Mitchell, because it is the highest peak east of the Mississippi, which offers incredible views and challenging hikes. And I am telling you, that Blue Ridge Parkway is something beautiful. When we went through there, it was gorgeous. And then Asheville, a lot of people say it's kind of like the microbrewery capital of the world, and I did hear somebody say there were more man buns per capita than they'd ever seen in their life. So, take that with a grain of salt. Next, let's talk about the business of North Carolina. It is a powerhouse when it comes to business and innovation. Charlotte is the state's largest city, and it's a major financial center, second only to New York City. In terms of banking assets, companies like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Truist, they all have their headquarters there. And they're making Charlotte a key player in the finance industry. And then the Research Triangle Park, located between Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, is one of the largest research and development hubs in the world, home to companies like IBM, Cisco, and Biogen. So for those of you who don't live in the Southeast, little old North Carolina ain't so little anymore, is it? Next, sports fans, this one's for you. North Carolina is home to several professional sports teams that bring excitement to the state. In hockey, we've got the Carolina Hurricanes, and they're based in Raleigh. They were established in 1971. They've appeared in the Stanley Cup 10 times, but they have only won once, and that was in 2006. They are also the only pro sports team based in North Carolina that has ever won their championship. Oops. Spoiler alert. Then next we have the Charlotte Hornets in the NBA. The Charlotte Hornets were established in 1988. They have been 10 times in the playoffs, and they have never won the NBA Finals. Their majority stakeholder was Michael Jordan up until 2023 when he sold off his piece of the team. Then we have the Carolina Panthers. They are based in Charlotte, and they have a passionate fan base, and they have made 2 appearances in the Super Bowl in 2003 and 2015. They were established in 1993, and they have never won the Super Bowl. Lastly, let's not forget about baseball. Even though they have 3 major league sports teams, they don't have a Major League Baseball team, but they do have the Durham Bulls, which is a minor league team, and it was made famous by the movie Bull Durham. They were established in 1902. They've won 17 of their league championships, and they have also been a farm team for the Cincinnati Reds and the Brooklyn Dodgers in the past. And of course, we can't talk about North Carolina without mentioning NASCAR. Charlotte is not only the home of NASCAR, but it also is the location of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And that is a cool place. Even if you're not into NASCAR racing, it's a cool Hall of Fame to visit. This museum is a must-visit for any motorsports fan, offering a deep dive into the history of stock car racing with exhibits on legendary drivers, iconic cars, and the evolution of the sport. Charlotte Motor Speedway, located just outside the city, hosts some of the biggest races in NASCAR, including the Coca-Cola 600 and the NASCAR All-Star Race. North Carolina's connection to NASCAR runs deep, making it a true paradise for racing enthusiasts. Now let's take a look at a few points of interest. North Carolina has a couple of must-see attractions. The Biltmore Estate in Asheville is America's largest home, and it is a stunning example of the Gilded Age of architecture. This place is breathtaking, and if you are there around the holidays, I suggest getting a reservation early because the decorations inside and out are stunning, and they are second only to the White House. And then in Raleigh, you can go to the Museum of Natural Science, and it has some fascinating exhibits. As you can see in the pictures there, they've got a big T-Rex and a couple of dinosaurs that would be fun to watch. I know my grandkids would love to go there. And then for a dose of aviation history, you can go to the Wright Brothers National Memorial in Kitty Hawk. And this is a cool kind of exhibit to see because you go out there and you can see those stone pillars there. Those are all markers along the way, and each of them describes to you at what point, which flight sample that was, and that's how far they got in that next flight attempt. And it's really pretty interesting. So I hope you can take a look at that. Well, there you have it. North Carolina in a nutshell. From its rich history and stunning landscapes to its booming businesses, thrilling sports scene, and deep connection to NASCAR, this state truly has it all. Whether you're planning to visit or just exploring from home, North Carolina is a place that will leave a lasting impression. I know, because I live there. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss out on our latest adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. In the meantime, go drink some cheerwine soda.